Looks like I was not talking there. Looks like I was silent there for a minute, so apologies. Today is Tuesday. Feels like a Monday. Today is Tuesday. So, I worked yesterday, so because I worked, feels like a Monday. Or God, I can't even talk today. Feels like a Tuesday. Did a good video yesterday talking about some token unlocks. So if you go ahead over to our video selection, you will find that we have 4 tokens, big ones, or relatively big, I should say, coming out this week. So, a couple of hints. One of them, Injective Protocol. Another one, Axie Space, Share ID, and what was that fourth one? ApeCoin. So they're all unlocks happening this week. So go ahead and watch that video. I show a couple of charts that that might be helpful as far as where price might go in that scenario. So that's gonna be ready when you are. I'm gonna open up the calendar for this week. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at the economic activity, economic announcements, so that we might be able to tell in both forex, crypto, and pretty much all the markets what might be happening. When these economic data get announced, there tends to be some pretty big price action. Price tends to move pretty hard one way or another. And so some people like to trade that. They like to try to ride that wave. I personally think that's a little dangerous depending on what kind of information you have, skill set you have. What one can do is bracket that trade. So take both sides of that trade and then get rid of one of the trades right after the announcement. So let's just say they announce something and price goes up, then you can try to take advantage of that. You take a trade that is long, meaning that you're betting in the price going up. And if it goes up, then you get rid of the short trade and you have both of those trades ready to go. So it's what's called a stop order. So it'll enter it for you. And I actually did a show on this not too long ago, like a month or two ago. I don't like to do it because it's just so wild. It's just so unpredictable. However, we do have today, overnight, we had the British pound claim account change. So that's unemployment, and their unemployment numbers were, what is it? They were weaker than expected, a lot weaker. So less people claiming unemployment benefits, which is going to be quote unquote good for the currency. Then you have Canadian dollar, lots of stuff just coming out right now. So if you're trading the Canadian dollar, you already might be in for some wild price action. We'll take a look at that. And even now for the USD, there's the Empire State Manufacturing Index, and that is a look at manufacturing, which actually came out weak. So the Canadian CPI came out strong, right? So basically good for the currency. The CPI looks like here, yeah, 3.6, 3.7. So their inflation numbers are higher than expected, which means that in that case, they are going to assume that no interest rate cuts and possibly interest rate hikes are coming. So the Canadian dollar is going to spike up based on that. And CPI is the hot ticket right now. So anybody who is in a Canadian trade might be seeing the Canadian dollar get stronger. So like USD CAD would go down based on that. We'll take a brief look at that right now. Let's see what happens with USD CAD. We'll see if it spiked down a little bit. And right now it's on the daily chart, so it wouldn't be that visible. But if I go to a lower time frame chart, then we'd be able to see that price. Yeah, oh wow, there's a spike for you. So it was headed down already, and then the data came out and it spiked down very hard. Like I said, a lot of people try to play this game. They try to take advantage of these moves, and there are people who make money doing that. It is doable. It does tend to require a fair amount of, like data. You have to have some pretty big, or I should say, some pretty good mechanisms, or you have to at least, if nothing else, you have to be very nimble, right? You have to be quick on the charts. You got to be in and out. If I were playing that game, I wouldn't even be using an API. An API, what that means is an API is, let's say that this is your charting software, right? You can actually enter trades through your charting software. So this is the software I use to chart things. I don't, it's not the original exchange where you might trade it. This charting software can collect data from all different exchanges, from, stock market exchanges, cryptocurrency exchanges. And what an API does is this connects to your exchange and allows you to trade directly from your charting software. Most exchanges have their own charting software where you can do all of that as well, but my algorithms are built on this charting software, TradingView. And if you look in the description, you will see links to TradingView. And I believe there is a discount by there's a discount for signing up through that link. We got Truckface on. Truckface being Truckface. It's always good to have you on, brother. Thanks for watching our show. So at any rate, we have the Canadian dollar. Just wanted to show you the mechanics of that as the Canadian dollar came out with that data and took its drop. I'm going to add a new layout here. I'm going to switch. Let's not leave this one. I'm going to bring out my algo layout here so we can analyze a few things coming up. Now, if you are in the audience, please feel free to ask questions. If you have like a chart you want to see, I will be happy to do my best to see if I can forecast what might happen. But remember, nothing we say here is investment advice, right? This is all just for entertainment purposes only, so on and so forth. All right, cool. So looks like we do have a few people watching. That's awesome. Now I don't see it yet, but I'm supposed to be able to get comments from X. So if you're watching live on X, do me a favor and drop a comment and see if I can see your comment in there, because I'm not seeing any right now. No comments yet. Okay, give me a second here. I'm going to try to send this YouTube link out. So bear with me. Bear. That's good because markets, bear market. So just some introductory terminology with markets, right? You have a bear market and you have a bull market. And if you follow markets at all, you probably know this. But bear markets are such that, let's see, get a link here. Bear markets are when price is going down in general over time. Right. So if you are in a scenario, say like the first half of last year, or the second half of the prior year, if memory serves correctly, then that's going to be a bear market. So if price is going up, like the last part of last year, say the second half of last year-ish, price is going up in general over time, like the last, 3-6 months, whatever it was, that is a bullish market, right? So now there are different kind of definitions for different markets. You start to get into the weeds on that, but just understand that bullishness means price is going up in general. Okay, bearishness means that price is going down in general. And we're looking at Bitcoin here, but we're going to come back and look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at a few stocks if people are interested, certainly some Forex pairs if we have time, right? So again, we're taking requests. So there's a chart you want to see, then we'll be happy to chart it for you. Our private members do have priority on which charts get, put on the screen here, but let's see here. Let me hide that. Okay. All right, cool. So let's go back to the calendar. 8 a.m. GBP. Okay, so you're going to have some movement in about an hour and 20 minutes, 10 a.m. EST for the British pound, right? So Governor Bailey is going to speak. That's going to push price around if you're trading anything against the pound. Later, we have the CNY production. Now, this is actually a lot more important than you might think to look at the Chinese yuan and their industrial production. So they've been kind of in a market compression for a while over there, and the Chinese market, all their markets really, but their equities market is something that we really have to start paying attention to, because there's a lot of Chinese money in the game now, more than we think. And my theory is that you're going to have the U.S. markets dropping while the Chinese markets are going up, and vice versa. And I think that's just a game that we're going to see being played for a while. Always a place to make money, right? I don't know. That's just a theory. We'll see how it plays out. Now, tomorrow at the London Open, right? So you're talking about 2 a.m. EST, right at 8 a.m. in UTC, right? Greenwich time. CPI is coming out for Britain. That's their inflation number. That's going to be big. So if you're trading the British pound or anything against it, you're going to see a lot going on. Also, the WEF is having their meetings this week. So, I mean, if I suppose there was a surprise announcement during those meetings, we might see something happen. The WEF is getting together to talk about how they can enslave everybody further. You got the 8:30 a.m. Wednesday. That's tomorrow EST 8:30. You have the retail sales number. So that is going to be, I think that's a weekly number, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a bit of data that's talking about whether or not sales are up or down for just retail. Retail is, mom and pop going to the store, buying things. Might be clothes, might be, whatever it might be. And that's going to just be an indication of, excuse me, wow, an indication of strengthening the economy, excluding automobiles, right? So that's in a separate measure. So if that's going up, that means the economy is strong. That means that we probably won't be seeing rate cuts this month. If that number is going down a lot, if you see a hard decrease in retail sales, that means that the economy is getting weaker, which means that the hike in interest rates has done its job, or at least looks like it has. And therefore, the wisdom, if you will, is that we might actually see interest rate cuts in the near future. And if we see interest rate cuts in the near future, prices will eventually go up. But there is a little known thing that happens with interest rates that we'll probably talk about today. A lot of people think, oh, they're going to cut the interest rate and the markets are going to go up. Well, that's true in a way, but there's a caveat there, right? So things don't always go as planned, but things do always, so far, act in a certain way when you see interest rate cuts, and it is not the way that you think, based on just kind of what everybody talks about, right? Okay, Australian dollar 7:30 EST tomorrow. That's Australian time. I didn't know what time that is. Maybe the next day, early in the morning. I don't know. But unemployment rate, employment change, employment data coming out. So if you're trading the Aussie dollar at that time, watch out. Unemployment claims for the U.S. Now this is every Thursday at 6:30 a.m. So if it's a super quiet week, a lot of times this doesn't have much effect at all. However, there are times when it does, if the number is severe enough, things like that. So if you're trading at 8:30 a.m. EST, which is 6:30 my time, the unemployment claims, you might see some action there. So, and what I do with that, and the reason I pay attention to these things is if I'm in a trade, especially like a day trade, I might tighten up stops, get out of the trade, wait till this number comes out, or not take a trade until after it comes out. That's how that works. We got, again, London Open, retail sales, data coming out for the British pound. We explained it's the same thing for the US as it is for them. So apply that explanation. And then 10 a.m. on Friday, 10 a.m. EST, is the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report. And that, I want to say that's a week over week number 2. I see that one a lot. Let's see. Next release, February. Okay, so that is monthly. Okay. And that is a level composite index based on surveyed consumers. So this is actually looking at people's sentiment, right? Meaning, how do the people feel about the economy? And that's going to have an effect on consumption, because if people feel that things are strong, they might be a little bit more willing to either invest or just to go buy things. So, all right, that's the data. Let me take a look at my Algo Factory private chat. See, okay, there's no questions in there. Good. All right, well, again, if you want to see a chart, go ahead and ask whether you are an Algo Factory member or not. Let me take a look at X real quick. I just want to see if anybody's asking questions over on X, because I don't see, I know there's a live chat over there, but I don't see any questions being asked. And I think they're okay. No, there's not a whole lot of people watching yet. Okay, cool. I've had a fair amount of people watching these X shows before. So that's that's something I need to pay attention. All right, good. So let's go ahead into the Bitcoin chart. Now let me expand the screen here a bit. Make it a little easier for everybody to see things. Bitcoin ETF push price up all the way to almost 50,000, and then price drop back down into what seems to be an established range. So if you're learning about trading, if you're learning about markets, if you're learning about the way that price can move, what's up, Cool Cat? Yeah, we'll look at AVAX. Cool Cat wants to see AVAX, so we will certainly look at that. I think AVAX is undercover, it's like low-key, really good coin. Just doesn't seem to be getting the attention that others are getting right now. Or maybe it is. We'll see. We'll see after Bitcoin. So the ETF came out. At least the approval did. And so price spiked up, knocked back down, and it's back in a range. Now, the gorilla gave us in the private lab what he thinks is going to happen to price based on his data. And apparently the gorilla couldn't make it. The gorilla had he's fine, everybody, if anybody's concerned about him. He actually had a tough time on Monday. It's a long story. His dog actually got a little sick, and he was up all night dealing with the dog and had like no sleep yesterday. Otherwise, we are going to do like a crypto extravaganza yesterday. But unfortunately, the gorilla just was out of it, so we didn't do that. So we have now, back to the chart here, Bitcoin in a range, and it may go up, it may go down. The algos right now, at least for me, okay, so I'm going to click some buttons. For anybody who's watching, especially if you're new, do not let what I'm about to show you freak you out. This is something I'm used to looking at, and it's not something that you need to know how to look at. It's just a lot of stuff. Look, long-term, high time frame, Bitcoin is strong. Okay, absolutely. And in fact, I think it might be a high time frame, very high time frame at the beginning of a breakout, an actual breakout. But when that's on the monthly chart, that breakout could take like 2-3 months or longer to actually happen. So in the meantime, we have to look at lower time frame data to try to determine what might happen in the near term for those of us who trade and we're not really holding a lot of Bitcoin. Now, my opinion is that we'll probably see, well, we're seeing a pullback now. It may pull back further, it may not, but I to make it really simple, I think Bitcoin's price is going to be higher this time next year. In fact, I think it's going to be higher probably at the end of Q3, if not sooner. So something like maybe August, September, I think we're really going to see price start to take off if it hasn't already. But we might see a pullback. It's possible. And that pullback could go, I mean, anywhere from where it's gone now, 41,000, that might be it. It could go all the way down to 17,000. I don't think it will, but the technicals are there for price to go all the way down below 20,000. The technicals are there for that. And I can tell you that if price went down that low, I think it would be coincidental with some kind of traditional finance pullback. Like the stock market kind of has a pretty hard hit. At that point, if the stock market takes a super hard hit, for example, like 2020 COVID crash, then Bitcoin probably would take a super hard hit. And 15,000, which is last year's yearly low, those are on the table in that scenario, without a doubt. However, if things remain pretty stable, that lower number, I don't know if we'll see that. I don't know if we're going to get our entries on that. It's just hard to say what's going to happen. But I will say that the way the algos look right now, I don't see price going past 50,000 anytime terribly soon. Now it can happen, right? Bitcoin's crazy like that. The algos can flip on you pretty quick, but for the most part, I don't see price propelling past that like in the next 2 weeks. I think right now I'm not going to worry about it because the way I'm positioned is that I have crypto I have not touched in years, right? That I bought a long time ago. It's my hodl bag. And most people, like 99.99% of people, are going to make more money holding over the long term than they are trading in the short term, right? But my strategy involves both. I have long-term bags I simply don't touch. Also, that's kind of better for dealing with like, other issues, bookkeeping and whatnot. But I do have other items that I will trade on the short term, mostly in the Forex markets. And, so that being said, I actually have a very small trade on right now, right? So I think price bounced off the midpoint of this range and actually may head back to the top of this range. I do see that as a distinct possibility. It really bounced off what could be a tighter range that's forming in the short term. So after price kind of established this higher time frame range, there was a deviation here, but this might be a bit of a new range that's forming right here, a range within a range, if you will. So it might be that price does head up a little bit from here, what is now a current midpoint, and breaks above that and moves up. So I went ahead and caught right after this kind of stronger move down. I went ahead and caught along, and it's about a 2-to-1 risk to reward. I put that in the Algo Factory chat this morning. So that's Bitcoin. I think it's going to stay in this range, whether it's the smaller range or the bigger range, until it doesn't. And until then, I'm just going to be trading that range. If it does break above, then I'd imagine it's going to look something like this, right? Let's just say for whatever reason it breaks above now on this current move, then it probably would possibly come back and head up, maybe not, right? So if it breaks with any conviction, that's my area of interest. I might be watching as price tries to get past this 48,000 mark. 48,000 is key. If it rejects at 48,000, then chances are it will simply just fall back into the range. If it could get past, say, 48, 49,000 and stay above there for a day or two, then there's a decent chance it will continue up, possibly to try to maybe go up to 53,000, and we'll see what happens there. But if not, then of course price will probably just drop right back into that range. Now, there's also the very distinct possibility that price breaks down. Okay, so if what we're looking at here is a distribution, if the smart money is selling their long positions and getting short at this point, then we might be seeing a short accumulation or a long distribution. Same thing. I know that's some complex language. Don't let that language scare you if you're new. That's more language for our experienced traders. But long story short, what we're probably going to see here in that case would be a move down, and it probably would look like this. It might come back to retest and then head downwards. This right here, this bit of a structure shelf that was created by these high points, is a place where price could bounce and maybe create a new range, or it could go below. And then your local sort of low point for me is going to be around 31,000, and price might hang out there for a while. But we're going to take it level by level, as we always do. Let the hodl bags do their thing and try to catch trades as we can. I do prefer to trade Forex rather than crypto. Crypto just has a lot of scammy stuff going on in it, but trades can be won in crypto. And as you know, I'm in a trade right now, so I'm not totally not trading it. I just make more money in Forex. My numbers are better there. My back testing, my forward testing, and my results. All right, AVAX for Cool Cat. And then that'll probably take us into the private session. So, Grill is here. Gorilla.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Like, what are you doing?
Makeup tutorial.
Awesome. You're breaking out the crypto?
Yeah, we're looking at
Heck,
you sound like some like Valley, like gay person.
that was the
Oh my
effect that I
God.
was going for.
Oh, good Lord. All right, hold on. I'm going to bring up AVAX. But yeah, while I'm bringing up this chart, man, tell us how you're doing. Are you feeling a little? I didn't explain everything, but I just told me your dog kept you up all night on Sunday night, Monday.
Yeah.
So
I put my dog away for a board and train out in Colorado, and he just wasn't holding weight, man. He's lost a significant amount of weight, diarrhea constantly.
you get like kennel cough or?
No kennel cough, because the dog was outside. He was, just getting worked, and there's Max.
Hey, Max.
So he's lost a significant amount of weight, and just constant diarrhea, man. The night before, he was like every 3-4 hours just running him outside so he could go to the bathroom. It was just insane.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Maximus.
You're on my headset, so I don't think he can hear you.
Oh, all right. Yeah. I want to meet that dog. Dude, I know. Look, here's the thing. I wouldn't know to pay.
Dude, absolutely ideal. I'll tell you right now. You ought to see him. It's like got a little Pomeranian puppy that we picked up as well, and he's about 3 months old. And you see the little Pom putting his head into the open pit bull's mouth, and the pit's just like, what do I do?
Yeah, pits were nanny dogs back in the day. I think they were,
Exactly.
Look, there's something about the breed that I'm kind of wary of personally, but every pit I've dealt with has been a sweetheart, like personally, my own personal experience.
If you've dealt with a real one, you'd
not those half-breed ones, right?
Yeah, dude, if you put pit bull in a Google Images and then, type in pit bull and then hit Google Images, 99.999% of those dogs are not even pit bulls that you see.
Yeah,
it's the wildest shit, dude. Yeah, dude, it's the wildest shit. It's unbelievable. It's like a lot of experts are saying, like, within 5-10 years, the actual breed itself is going to probably go extinct.
No, you guys keep it alive. You guys keep it.
Yeah.
Real quick for Cool Cat, while we still have this going here, I'm going to throw up. Feed him rice and lamb, says Lisa Gray. Rice and lamb.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mav Bet. She's a vet.
No, it's Lisa Gray.
It's right. Okay.
I don't know if that's MavBet or not. I don't know if it's the same person. But I just I'm doing a quick chart on AVAX. It is bullish. I'm sorry, it is bearish on the midterm. So AVAX may take a hit here. Cool cat. It's already broken below. In fact, this is actually a really good short trade to possibly take. If I were to short this, I would short it down. I would have my stop loss probably safely around like 37.20, maybe. I could go a little tighter, maybe. It could go as tight as 36.70 if you want to be a little more risky. Honestly, you got to have your own formula for stops. So my stop actually would be about 36.75 by formula. And then to look at just purely the Fibonacci targets, right? We're going to look at structure in a minute. The first structure is below the 1.272. So I would have my target first at 31.77, and then I would go ahead and take the other target at about 28.9. That's a good short. I mean, that's a freebie for everybody to see. That's like not even an Algo Factory. That's a decent short. However, in the current market, I also would be aggressively raising stops, dropping stops in this case. I'd be moving stops in a profit pretty aggressively. And there is this point, these two kind of neckline touches that might cause price to bounce a little bit. So I'd be wary of that. But right now, it's on the charts a little bit bearish, and this is a beautiful head and shoulders when it comes to the kind of risk to reward you can get on this, right? It's an upward sloping head and shoulders for a head and shoulders reversal. Actually, this is a head and shoulders continuation. So you don't see these as often. You see mostly head and shoulders reversals, but you'll notice price is actually heading down into this head and shoulders. So this is where head and shoulders is considered an inverse head and shoulders. That's the real kind of term for that, and or inverse head and shoulders, or you could call this a head and shoulders continuation, because price was going down into the formation and then down out of the formation. So if you ever want to know what an inverse head and shoulders really looks like, you're seeing it now. So I hope that helps. And gosh, man, that takes us right to the end. V, you want to give us that gorilla send off? We can head out into the private group.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, guys, don't sit there and wonder if this is for you. You want to try things, go try Rocky Road ice cream. Don't try Algo Factory. You must do Algo Factory. You must be Algo Factory, because look, it's the only place in the world where you're going to get your macros, you're going to get your fundamentals, you're going to get your technicals, you're going to get everything you need to understand the game from now into the future. And nobody else does it right. Nobody else does it quite like us. Join us today for less than the price of a bottle of water. AlgoFactory.tech. With that being said, Cowboy, take us to the private lab.
All right, here we go.